The air smelled of lilies and expensive perfume, yet every breath you took felt heavy. The organ music filled the air, slow and ceremonial, but your hands trembled around the bouquet. You stood before the altar in a white dress that felt more like a trap than a dream. Your groom, Daniel Park, smiled nervously, unaware of the storm about to tear through the giant gates. Behind him, your stepmother Vivian glowed with pride. Beside her, your stepsister Celine leaned back in her chair, wearing the kind of satisfied smile that made your stomach twist. Their plan had worked. You were the sacrifice that kept her safe. Everything is perfect, Vivian whispered to Celine. Perfect. Celine echoed. Her eyes were glinting, but nothing felt perfect to you. Your throat tightened as the officiant cleared his throat and opened the book. Do you? The words never finished. Outside, the engines roared. A ripple moved through the guests. First confusion, then panic as the sound grew louder. Black cars slid to a stop at the gates, their doors opening in perfect, practiced rhythm. Men in dark suits spilled out, forming two sharp lines that cut straight through the crowd outside. John Jungkook walked in. No one needed an introduction. His name carried weight heavier than gold or bullets. He moved with that quiet, dangerous calm that made people forget to breathe. His eyes scanned the hall, cold and steady, until they landed on Celine. The guests sat there holding their breath, wondering what does the mafia boss is doing in this marriage. Her smile vanished. John Jungkook? Someone whispered, and the entire hall froze. He didn't look at Daniel, not yet. His gaze stayed on your stepsister, the woman who had once played games with his empire's money. You felt the chill before he even spoke. Interesting wedding, he said, voice smooth but sharp enough to cut class. Though I don't recall inviting you to use my money for it. Celine stood, her face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Vivian tried to step between them. Mr. John, this is a private ceremony. Private? Jungkook smiled faintly. Then why does it involve someone who stole from me? Whispers filled the hall. Daniel turned to you, confusion in his eyes. What's going on? You couldn't answer. You barely understood it yourself. Jungkook took another step forward, his man closing in behind him. I have been looking for Celine, but it seems she hid behind her family. Clever. His gaze shifted to you, lingered for a heartbeat. Cruel too. You blinked confused. I'm not Celine. Jungkook raised a brow. Leave her out of this, Celine blurted. He tilted his head toward her. You should have thought of that before you cost me a life. Your pulse thundered in your ears. You didn't know who he meant or what Celine had done, but his voice carried grief beneath his anger. Celine clutched Vivian's arm. Mother, do something. Vivian's lips moved, but no sound came. Fear had turned her into stone. Jungkook finally looked at you again, and the air seemed to shrink around the two of you. He studied you as if he were weighing something impossible. Then he said, call off the ceremony. Daniel stammered, you can't just. Jungkook's man shifted closer. The message was clear even without a word. Daniel's shoulders dropped. Who are you? The man fixing a mistake. Jungkook replied. The officiant froze, looking between you and Jungkook. The air felt thick enough to drown in. Jungkook extended a hand toward you, not gently but not cruelly either. Come here, you don't belong in this marriage. You hesitated. Every eye in the hall was on you. Vivian's glare burned into your back. Don't move. She hissed, but to everyone's surprise, you took one small step forward. Maybe it was fear, maybe it was the chance to escape, but you moved. Jungkook's expression softened just enough for you to see he noticed. He turned to the officiant, continued the ceremony. The man blinked. Sir, between whom? Jungkook's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Between me and her. Gasps erupted around you. Daniel stumbled back, speechless. Celine's knees nearly gave way. You can't do this. It just did. His eyes never left yours. Read. The officiant's hand shook as he opened the book again. His voice trembled, but the words still filled the air. Do you, John Jungkook, take? I do. You couldn't speak at first. The hall was spinning, your mind fighting to catch up with what was happening. Jungkook's gaze held yours steady. Say it. Your voice came out as a whisper. I do. Silence followed, deep and suffocating, until the officiant closed the book with shaking hands. It's done, he said faintly. Jungkook stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. He leaned near your ear, voice low enough that only you heard. Don't look so terrified. You are free from them now. Then, before you could respond, he pressed a quick, claiming kiss against your forehead, a gesture that silenced even the whispers. He turned to Seline. As for you, we'll talk soon. And with that, he took your hand and started walking down the aisle, past the stunned guests, past your furious stepmother, out into the cold air filled with the hum of black engines. You didn't know where he was taking you. You only knew one thing. Your old life had just ended inside that hall. He opened the car door for you and said quietly, don't be afraid. You are my wife now. The door shut and the convoy rolled away into the night. Car stopped after what felt like an endless drive. You had lost track of how many turns, how many high iron gates you had passed. The mansion rose from the darkness like something out of a dream, too quiet, too large, and too unfamiliar. You stepped out slowly. The air smelled different here, expensive, cold, and clean. The guards at the entrance stood perfectly still, their eyes lowering as Jungkook passed. You followed him up the marble stairs, every step echoing in your head. Inside the house was silent except for the faint hum of the lights. He stopped once you were inside the hallway and turned slightly toward you. Don't look so tense. No one will do anything to you as long as I allow them. And I don't relax easily. You looked at him, trying to read his expression, but his face gave away nothing. You didn't answer. You still weren't sure what to say to a man who had destroyed your wedding and changed your life in less than an hour. He didn't seem bothered by your silence. Come, he said simply. The hallway stretched wide, lined with doors on both sides. At the end of it was one that opened to a room large enough to be an apartment on its own. You froze at the doorway. It wasn't empty. There were two wardrobes, one clearly filled already, dresses, shoes, perfume bottles, all new, all yours. The air left your lungs. This wasn't improvised. He had prepared this. Jungkook glanced around as if checking everything was in place. You'll get everything you want here. Clothes, food, privacy, whatever you need. You turned toward him, finally finding your voice. Why did you do this? How do you even know my stepsister? And why were you calling me Celine? My name is Ryan. What did she do to you? And what about her? Won't you punish her? He stood quietly for a moment, his hands in his pockets. Then his gaze met yours, dark but oddly calm. I already did, by taking their most precious thing. You stared at him, disbelief flickering across your face, and then scoffed softly. Precious thing? You said, your voice low, almost mocking. You reached up, pulling the veil off and tossing it onto the couch. Are you really a mafia boss? Because if you think you have punished her by taking me, you are a fool. Jungkook was stunned and impressed by your audacity. You think I was precious to them? I was their reusable trash. They used me when they needed and threw me back when they didn't. You think I'm sad because you broke my marriage? That man, Daniel Park, I was forced to marry him. My family made me, so no, I'm not scared. In fact, I'm happy because I'm free now. For the first time, something like surprise flickered across his expression. Then slowly he chuckled, a low, rough sound that broke the tension in the air. Wow, he said, walking a few steps closer. Seems like I unintentionally helped you, huh? You nodded, still sitting on the edge of the bed. Yes, you did. He smiled, not the kind of smile, but one that carried too much certainty. Well, I'm happy for you, but you are free from them, sweetheart, not me. Your smile faded. That was just a drama. You said quickly, your tone flat. He shook his head, amusement in his eyes. That smile, calm, knowing, made your stomach tighten. No, sweetheart, it wasn't. You frowned, not understanding. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a folded document, and threw it on the table. It was a fake passport, your photo, but not your name. Celine Kim. Ring any bells? Your breath caught. Celine, your stepsister, but your photo was on it. That's her name, but why is my face? He cut in because your dear sister planned to become you after tonight. You froze. He stepped closer, voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. She leaked confidential accounts from my company to my enemies 2 years ago. One of my men died in that ambush. I traced every payment, every message, and it all led to her. She sold me out for money. You shook your head. What? No, you could be lying. I don't lie about blood, sweetheart. I buried my man because of her. He stumbled back as his tone hardened. She thought she could disappear, that if she married Daniel Park, she would be untouchable, but she was smarter than I gave her credit for. She didn't just run, she found an scapegoat. You. Chest tightened painfully. That she used me, used you, named you, and would have let you die in her place if I came for revenge later. Your wedding was her escape ticket, a new name, a new country, while you carried her sin. You covered your mouth in shock. The pieces fell into place, the rush, the sudden proposal, the fake kindness your stepmother had showered on you for the first time in years. It wasn't love, it was strategy. So you ruined my wedding to punish her? That was your way of taking revenge? He looked at you, calm and deadly. No, for now, I just ruined her plan and saved your life, didn't I? You blinked through tears, staring at him. Well, thank you. I really needed to escape that hell, but never succeed. But now we can separate our ways, right? He smiled, and it wasn't something that gave you butterflies, rather, it made your body cold. In my world, marriage to me means one thing: no one touches you, not even death. You wear my name, you became untouchable. That's the only reason you are breathing right now, so forget about parting ways. You are my woman now. You scoffed in disbelief. That's ridiculous. That marriage wasn't even real. Jungkook's smirk deepened as he took a slow step closer, the sharp click of his shoes echoing off the marble floor. His dark eyes didn't leave yours for a second. You didn't question it. You didn't resist. You followed along like a good bride. You frowned, your chest tightened. That's because I wanted to escape that hell. That's it. He chuckled low, the sound dangerous but soft, almost like a warning. He closed the distance between you, one hand braced against the wall beside your head. His breath brushed against your skin as he leaned in. Sweetheart, you escaped from there, but now you're mine. He swallowed hard, refusing to look away even though your heart was pounding like a drum inside your chest. You can't just claim people like that, Jungkook. He tilted his head, eyes glinting with amusement. I just did, and you said I do, remember? In my world, words like that, they mean everything. You pushed against his chest, but he didn't budge, not an inch. He only smirked. This isn't a world, it's a cage. He leaned in closer, his nose brushing the side of your jaw, voice barely above a whisper. Maybe, but at least in my cage, no one can hurt you. You froze, your anger faltering for a moment as something unfamiliar flickered in his tone. Not dominance, not arrogance, but a strange kind of protectiveness. He finally stepped back, letting the air return to your lungs. Get some rest, Mrs. John. You'll need it. You glared at him. Don't call me that. He smirked as he turned away, adjusting his cufflinks. You can pretend all you want, sweetheart, but my name is already on your soul. The sun slipped through the tall windows of Jungkook's mansion, spilling golden light across the marble floors. You woke up in a soft, king-sized bed, definitely not yours, with a heavy silk blanket draped over you. For a moment, everything felt unreal. Then it all came crashing back: the wedding, the gunshots, John Jungkook. You sat up immediately, your heart racing. The dress you wore last night had been replaced by a loose t shirt that clearly wasn't yours. It hung off your shoulders, smelling faintly like him. Unbelievable. It's not a dream. The door opened just then and Jungkook walked in, hair still damp from a shower, sleeves rolled up, a mug of coffee in his hand. He looked impossibly calm, like he hadn't just turned your world upside down. Good, you are awake. Wow, the kidnapper brings coffee now, you said sarcastically, making him smirk. Wife. The word you are looking for is husband. You glared at him. He placed the mug on the beside table and stepped back. Drink it before it gets cold. I don't poison people before breakfast. You crossed your arms, refusing to touch it. He shrugged, walked over the door, and added lazily, I'm heading out for business. Stay in the house. Don't touch anything. Don't talk to anyone. And don't try to escape. My men are not very polite. He turned to leave but stopped when you spoke. You didn't even realize the words left your lips until he stopped mid step. You think you have punished Celine by taking me here? He froze, hands on the door handle. But in reality, she's free now, and I'm the one stuck. That's not justice, Mr. Mafia. That's just you denying the fact that you failed to punish her. For a second, silence filled the room, the kind that wrapped around your ribs and made breathing harder. Then Jungkook slowly turned. His expression wasn't angry. It wasn't even cold. It was something far more dangerous, controlled. He stepped closer, just enough that you could see the faint steam rising from his coffee mug, the veins in his forearm flexing as he placed it down again. She's not free, my sweetheart. His voice dropped low and steady, the kind that made your pulse skip. She's getting her punishment. While you are safe here, you'll understand soon. He held your gaze for a long moment, long enough that you forgot to breathe, before turning back and walking out. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving you wondering what he meant. Somewhere across the city, in an abandoned port warehouse bathed in flickering yellow light, Celine was on her knees, hands tied, her designer dress torn at the hem. Her mascara had long since bled down her face. Two of Jungkook's men stood near her, their faces expressionless. One of them, a scar cutting across his cheek, spoke quietly into a phone. Boss said no mercy if she tries to run again. The second man nodded before pulling Celine roughly to her feet. Please, please, I didn't know, I swear. I didn't know she was his. You did. He yanked her wrist, forcing her to look up. You knew exactly who you were playing with. He dragged her toward a rusted metal chair bolted to the floor. Celine's screams echoed through the empty space, bouncing off concrete walls. No, please, I'll leave. I'll disappear. A heavy door opened with a metallic creak, and a tall man in black, one of Jungkook's higher guards, stepped in. Already tried that. He motioned to the bruises on her ankle, fresh from being caught earlier. Boss doesn't like runners. He placed a small silver box on the table. Inside, glimmering faintly, were surgical blades, clean, cold, and merciless. You wanted her gone, don't you? He leaned closer to Celine, eyes narrowing. Now you'll spend your days wishing you had never said her name. Celine's breath came out in broken sobs. The sound was swallowed. He would have given you worse punishment, but he said he is grateful for you to give him such a beautiful gift.